Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back here on the bridge, and today, yes, we got something to go over from the Star Trek Online X feed, so on screen. Yes, captains, before we get into this video, do us a huge favor and hit that like button to help this video, to help the overall channel out, but also if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing here to the YouTube bridge, where we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains to share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now with that said, here we go. Caps, you already saw thumbnail, you know what's coming, so the ECs are going to be dropped on the latest, and of course at the end give our conclusions. So first up, we'll go over this. So Shrewd Captains on PC can now save 15% on keys and 20% in the Lobi store for a limited time. So there you go. Any wise captain knows that when a sale this good comes your way, it's best to take advantage of it. We're pleased to announce that the Ferengi merchants are putting a 15% sale on keys from April 29th. So this sale is already on as the drop of this video and goes till May 3rd. So now is the time to load up on your keys. So again, one of the recommendations we make in case you're new here is to buy the keys when they're on sale. Like 15% is the lowest. I would recommend waiting, but of course now there's a ship that's come out. They're going to take advantage of it. But I have seen captains open 250 boxes and get nothing. So a guaranteed way to get this is, or the new ship of course, or any ship from a lockbox, is buy the keys when they're on sale, wait for the sale to end so that the EC prices goes back up on the exchange, post your keys up, rinse and repeat until you have enough VC to buy the ship straight out on the exchange. That'll take a lot of patience though, because sometimes they don't always go on the exchange right away. But that is, again, the guaranteed way. Now, with this, of course, the keyring bundle is back. That is 20 of the master keys, and it does include an ultimate tech upgrade. Of course, same time frame for that is April 29th to May 3rd. And of course, as mentioned, there is a Lobi sale as well. Now that's from April 29th to May 7th. Of course, on PC. Now we have made recommendations, so that is on the channel. We'll probably put that on the end card and or in the description below. So there you go, a key and Lobi sale on PC. So there is that. Now of course we go to the main part of this video, which we knew was coming. So here it is. So straight from the Frontier Celebration to your screen, the Echelon Intel Science Spearhead, as seen on Star Trek Picard, is about to be added to our Infinity Lockbox on PC, or is now added. Find out more about our latest ship in our blog. Now, I was very surprised that they made it an Intel Science Spearhead. I thought it was going to be like a ship that you can put beams on, or more beam heavy, maybe even cannons. But they made it a Science Spearhead, so that is quite an unsuspecting move. So there, shit, that's a great shot of it, by the way. Again, it literally is the Sagan without the bottomless hells. So, just saying. And captains, of course, if you know, the last couple days we have been live streaming here on YouTube. We have been on the Sagan, and to be honest, I'll be straight up, between the two ships, I still prefer the Sagan. I'm surprised though it won the seating, but we'll go over that here. So again, command the Echelon Intel Science Spearhead. Prepare to revisit the fleet seen on screen in Star Trek Picard, as we welcome the introduction of the Echelon Intel Science Spearhead T6 into the Infinity Lockbox. It's been a while since I did one of these videos, so we'll just watch this quickly. Again, Sagan, no bottom to cells. It's been a while since we've seen one of these videos. I love the deflector though of this ship. That's just the standard video for any of the ships that they've introduced. It's been a while since we see that, so hopefully it's back. It's always different to see a ship in motion. There she is. That's the video there. So we'll go here. The ongoing run of the Infinity Lockbox will soon be updated with the addition of all new starships. So prepare to revisit, of course, the fleets seen on screen in Starship Picard, as it's mentioned in there in the beginning. So it is now available, and of course it will come to console soon. Now again, there's sometimes all over the place when it comes to certain things like the video, and this I do love when they use this sort of like snapshot of the ship. You have the ship and the information, the console tray that comes with it, so that's pretty cool here. And of course we're going to go over it anyways, but as you can see there's space console item, the tracer payload device, the console ability, tracer payloads, starship trait, persistence hunters, weapons 4 and 3 aft, consoles 3 eng, 3 tack, and 5 side, device slots 3. And of course there is the actual seating, so it is a full commander science intel, lieutenant commander engineering command. Again, surprising for me, but I Caps, you know I love my command ships. Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Universal, and Ensign Universal. So, Echelon Intel Science Spearhead. So, a streamlined variant of the Sagan class, the Echelon class, brings the versatile capabilities of its predecessor to a new platform, one which is easier to maintain and faster to produce because it's just less to nacelles and pylons. Integrating new technology will let it act in unison with other starships through Starfleet's mainframe for increased and precise performance. You'll be able to see a demonstration of its capabilities during the upcoming Frontier Day celebrations in the Sol system, when we celebrate 250 years since the first flight of the USS Enterprise. Always love those little blogs there. Again, we went over the ship details, but there's a little bit more here. So again, hull mod 1.25, shield mod 1.35. Again, we all know 4.3. There's the seating. Console, we know, so the base turn rate is 11, impulse mod 0.19, inertia 60, power bonuses +5 to weapon and aux, and +10 to engine. You can put a sec def on it. You can equip dual cannons. So there's that. Subsystem targeting, sensor analysis, gather intel, ship mechanic, warp signature masking, cloaking device, and the console there is the tracer payloads again. So the Starship Mastery is of a science vessel, so you got plus exotic damage, plus shield hit points, plus healing, plus shield regen and slash hardness. And then the Starship trait again is Persistence Hunters. Admiralty stats, so Eng 35, Psi 54, and TAC 37. Special is +8 Psi per any ship. So here's the console. The Echelon comes equipped with a console universal tracer payloads device. The ionic residual tracking solution, known among the ranks as the tracer payloads device, is a sophisticated console that allows a small party of starships to track and hunt down marked targets. It was developed for situations in which direct confrontation was not advisable or there were risks of their foe running away. By enhancing their direct energy weapons, any hit will leave an ionic trail on the point of impact. Once marked, the console can lock the target's position, even over warp, and transmit this data to other interconnected ships, improving their chances of dealing critical damage while targeting them. So this console has two main effects triggered upon activation. So your direct energy weapons will be enhanced for a short duration. Any foe you hit while under this effect will be marked with the tracer payloads, trail up to 15 times. Each consecutive hit will refresh the duration. So 2, you and your allies within 10 clicks radius will get a special buff. While actively targeting a foe marked with the tracer payloads trail debuff, your critical chance will increase by 1% for each stack of tracer payloads, so that's up to 15 times. So 15% critical chance. Applied to the active target. The critical chance increase is not limited to attacks towards the active target. This console also provides an increase in flying speed when leaving combat for 15 seconds or until combat is re-engaged. So when we were listening to Spencer's stream with the devs there and they were talking about this, it sounds like everything is affected by this. So energy weapons, torpedoes, all that stuff. And there is a cap though of the 15%. So there is that. Good thing they kind of nip that in the bud. Could you imagine 50% for all the ship? That'd be crazy. Or they just added all that. That'd be insane. So it sounds interesting. I will wait for the experts to say if this console is good or not. But there is that. Now the Starship trait is Persistence Hunter. So after achieving level 5 in the vessel's Starship Mastery, you will unlock the Persistence Hunters. Starship trait. When humanity was young, one of its main advantages over other animals was the ability to hunt for long amounts of time, eventually draining its prey from stamina. So using foe-targeted bridge officer abilities on a target within 10 clicks will reduce their flight speed and damage resistance. This effect stacks up to 5 times. Upon reaching 5 stacks, this debuff will expire, and in its place, the target's impulse and shield subsystems will be offline for 5 seconds. The target will also become immune to the effects of this trait for 20 seconds. So it doesn't sound too interesting, in all honesty. What sounds more interesting is the console here. So, but that is the information for the Echelon. For me, Caps, it's on the list of ships to get. I am not in a hurry to get it, in all honesty. As I mentioned, it's literally the Sagan without the bottom nacelles. But comparing the two ships, what works for my playstyle is the Sagan. This reminds me more of the Lamar in terms of its, of course, it being a Spearhead. But I'm still glad it's in the game. Now, they had, again, there's a lot of information in that stream. So I recommend, Captains, you listen to it, watch it on Casual SAB, aka Spencer's YouTube channel, as they did say a lot of things. One of the things that they did with the Echelon was do the animated nacelles. And all I had to do for my Sagan to get those animated cells was go to the tailor and reapply the actual skin, and boom, we have animated nacelles. So the other surprise is that this ship is on the frame of the Gagarin. That was also out of left field. So 2 left fields. One, it being a Psy ship. 2, being on the Gagarin. Now, I've always... Let me backtrack. When I was listening to the stream there, Thomas said they wanted to put this on the Gagarin to give it a little more kit bashability, because it would have been boring if they put on the Sagan, because all you have to do is take the 2 nacelles out. Well, he wasn't sure if it was going to work. So Pundis tried it, and boom, it's done. And one of Thomas's sort of fears was that the parts would have been too small, but it actually worked out. This brings me to the point that I want to bring up, is so one feature I wish that we had was, with any ship that we own, I wish we can kit bash all the parts that we have. Now, of course, keep it within Federation, Klingon, Romulan, etc. But like, say I wanted to use these nacelles on a Sovereign, just cuts. Why not? Or on a Galaxy. The only thing that you would have to do is, I might make it sound like it's easy, is give it a scaling option. But even then, even ships within the same family sometimes don't even kit bash correctly. Like, I think of the Obina and the Excel 2, some of it just doesn't work when you try to kit bash the parts. So again, when I was listening to the stream, I get why it is not easy to do, but it's something that they can do. The problem is that they would run into is just making sure that all the materials would apply properly. But like I said, some of the parts within the same family don't even kit bash correctly. So I feel like they can overcome that if they just put more time into it. And, you know, Bordicus mentioned something as well in terms of the players wanting to just be in the ship that they want to be and just have a different skin. Which, again, there is that ability, there is that holographic device that you can use to change your ship's appearance. It does have that holographic sort of visual or a blink. All I'd have to do is take that off. Again, I would pay for that feature, in all honesty, to be able to just put a skin straight up from another ship onto another frame, because I like that configuration better than the, let's say, the new ship. So I hope this is something they continue to tinker with in the future. They can obviously do it. Again, this was out of left field for them to put this on just a different complete ship other than the Sagan. So now the Gagarin got, within the last 2 months, 2 ships that you can kit bash it with: the Corolla, TMP style, and then now the Echelon. So that's a plus on the ship. But for me personally, it's just a ship that I'm going to put on the list to add to the fleet eventually. But if I had to pick between the two, with the Sagan and the Echelon, Sagan all the way for me, because that's a command and temporal ship, with the command being commander station, as opposed to the Echelon, it being a lieutenant commander, and on top of that, this being a side ship, which is one of my weak sort of builds that I don't even know how to really build a side ship, to be honest, nor do I like that playstyle, if I'm being honest. So Caps, you can get this ship still for free with your next year's event campaign, because as I mentioned, and for you don't know, any ship that is released in a year will be available in the next year's event campaign. So keep that in mind. If this is a ship that you want, you love the looks, you love the layout, you love everything about it, you can get it for next year's 2026 event campaign. So there is the vid. Caps, do us a favor, hit the like button, comment below, let me know your honest thoughts on the Echelon. If this is a ship that you got, if you have it, what do you think of it? Is it good as a side ship? I'd like to know. Now, of course, if you're new here, consider subscribing, and we'll leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.